My friends, hello, here we are again. About 7 weeks have passed since my last upload to this channel, and I cannot wait to tell you all the journey that I have been on. This is the first video of the recap series. If you've got no idea what I'm talking about, then please allow me to explain. The recap series consists of me uploading a video to this channel approximately every month about the journey I go through whilst chasing my career aspirations of being a freelance videographer. I say approximately because I will work using a 2-phase cycle. The first phase of the cycle is the working phase, which I will dedicate to 4 weeks worth of work, trying to hit as many small goals as possible whilst documenting the journey on the Learning of Life channel. Then, from week 5, I will try really hard to condense as many events from weeks 1 to 4 into an approximate 10-minute YouTube video by answering the following questions, and I will use TLOL to help me answer these questions. However, the amount of time it takes me to create this video may vary, so in theory, phase 2 could very quickly turn into an additional week 6, and dare I even say it, maybe even a week 7, because who knows, maybe I'll even decide to treat myself to a bit of time off as well, like I did over the Christmas break. However, once the second phase is complete and the recap video has been uploaded, it will be time to enter phase 1 again for the cycle to repeat itself. So I hope that's cleared any confusion you may have had, but before I start answering the questions, I'd like to say a few more things. Firstly, I just want to say thank you for all the support that I received from my first video. I genuinely just couldn't believe all the shares, comments, and just DMs that I had from people. I was quite confident that it was going to do well, but not quite to the extent that it did. But yeah, I mean, actually it was a little bit overwhelming at times, but yeah, generally just, yeah, it was a really nice feeling, and yeah, so again, thank you. The second point that I want to make, which I think is really important to say at the start of this video, is that basically, because I had been documenting so much during the working phase, I very soon recognised the absolute roller coaster of emotion that I was going through, and that this video would literally be about 10 hours long if I had kind of talked about every single emotion that I'd felt at every single point. Seriously, the number of emotions I have felt have just been ridiculous. To be honest, I actually think life has always been this way, but I think it just appears more so now because I've been paying attention to it. I mean, I've literally had days where my thoughts and emotions have changed like 10 times in the space of one day. As in, one moment I'm full of confidence about this idea, and then the next I'm just full of doubt. So I think what I'm trying to say before I get into all of this is that I just want you to know that it has not been easy, and I went through a lot of tough moments, but having said that, I also went through a lot of exciting moments. And you know what? I'm so grateful for every emotion I experienced because it has led me to this very moment, so I wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah, with all that said, let's get straight into it and start with week 1. So how was I feeling going into the week? Initially, I was so confident and eager just to get stuck into this journey. I think the support that I'd received from my first video definitely hyped me up. In all honesty, I didn't really have much of a plan. Perhaps this was something I really should have considered, and I will soon explain why. All I knew was that I was going to be ringing a lot of estate agents. So yeah, I spent the entire week searching for estate agents in Cornwall, as well as emailing and ringing them to offer a free video for one of their listings, providing that I could use what I created for them on my portfolio. I think by the end of the week, I managed to contact about 20 estate agents, which might not seem like a lot, but Christ, it took ages to find ones that I thought were ideal for me. I remember being so nervous for the first few calls that I made. Like, I literally had to psych myself up beforehand. I just couldn't get over how nerve-wracking it was. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's a phone call, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Get over it. The week taught me how much tougher it is to get real estate agents as clients than I thought, even when offering free video work. I also learned that some agents use certain marketing companies to capture content for them, meaning they're legally not allowed to use me. And in week 3, I actually contacted one of these marketing companies, but I'll explain more about this a little bit later on in the video. The outcome of the week was obviously that I had rang quite a few estate agents and I had nothing to show for it. So yeah, at this point I literally had no bookings scheduled. But yeah, you know, I was pretty satisfied with the amount of effort that I put into the week, and I was very happy to let my mind rest for the weekend. Like, I needed it. At the end of week 1, I also made a 60-second video clip to recap the entire week, but it literally took me like a whole day to make, which I've now learned is probably a bit too long. So I don't think I'll be making another one again, but anyway, here it is. I'm about to call some estate agents. Don't know why, but I'm just really nervous. I can do this. Why am I nervous? It doesn't even matter. It's a phone call. It's literally a phone call.
Good afternoon, Rosemary.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Myron.
Emma speaking, how can I help?
Hi, Emma.
Charlie speaking, how can I help?
Good afternoon, Charlie. Hello, good afternoon.
How can I help?
Love you. Lovely, sorry. Hiya, good afternoon. Hi, Tom, you're right there. I'm not ringing to buy the property, unfortunately. It's a little bit out of my price range. I'm just making it up on the spot. I'm not even nervous anymore. I feel so confident.
Thank you for calling. Please continue to...
Hiya, David, you're right there. Hiya, Mark, you're right. Hiya, Charlie. Hiya, you're right there. Hello. Hello, you're right there. Hello. You're right there. Thing is, I've got all these people saying they're going to check it out. Still haven't got any emails back. Okay, so going into week 2 now. So initially I was feeling pretty level-headed about the week, neither confident or not confident, just plain, you know. Similar to week 1, I didn't really have a written plan or anything. I just knew that I was going to be starting my new job with Purple Marketing as part of the Kickstart scheme, as well as ringing more estate agents and following up on the ones that I'd rang the previous week. So yeah, as I said, at the start of week 2, I actually managed to start a new job through the Kickstart scheme. If I actually manage to not get sacked from this one, it will mean I have a guaranteed income for the next 6 months, which is the length of the contract. It's a work from home job, it pays minimum wage and it's 25 hours a week, so it fits in quite nicely with any freelance work that I want to do on the side. As well as the work I did for Purple Marketing this week, I also followed my intentions for the week by contacting more estate agents. So about halfway through week 2, I started to feel quite unmotivated about the whole documenting thing, and more specifically about this monthly recap video. I was just overthinking everything, and in all honesty, I just ended up not doing anything for about a week. I was just thinking about how I was spending most of my time trying to create document-worthy content rather than actually working. I was just spending too much time not focusing on documenting my process and instead thinking about the advice that I thought I needed to be giving. Like I said, this was just me trying to overthink everything and make everything perfect, but it resulted in me just procrastinating and not wanting to do anything. Because ultimately it meant that I wasn't thinking about trying to inspire myself, and I lost touch of why I set out to do this whole thing in the first place. I think the fact that I'd got such an amazing response from my first video definitely added to the pressure and affected the way that I was feeling. I was also yet to receive any of the responses that I'd wanted from estate agents, which definitely didn't help either. You know, I'd spent the best part of about 10 days contacting about 40 agents and I just had nothing to show for it. At the time, I didn't really think I'd learn anything from the week, but looking back at it now, I can actually just see that I learned so much during those first 2 weeks. I mean, for a start, I feel like I pretty much know of every single estate agent in the whole of Cornwall, which could be helpful for future opportunities. I was also able to conquer my nerves of ringing the estate agents. Like, it was so easy in the end. I just can't believe still how nervous I was at the start. And most importantly, I realised that maybe working with estate agents as a freelancer just wouldn't provide me with enough clients at this stage of my career, and that maybe I should just focus on a different niche for the time being. But that doesn't mean I have to say no to a real estate opportunity if it were to come along. The outcome of the week was that I'd managed to work my first week at my new job, and that I had spent an ungodly amount of hours trying to find and ring estate agents offering them free video work. I think over the course of week 1 and 2, I'd managed to contact about 40 estate agents and I hadn't even received 1 gig. But I couldn't believe this has happened. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew it wouldn't be easy to get clients, but like, I didn't realise it would be this difficult. Just like 40 clients, like 40 agents and nothing, mate. To be honest, at the time, it genuinely felt like I'd wasted about 2 weeks of my life. You know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't demoralised and less confident. I just felt completely unmotivated. I really did. Okay, so let's talk about week 3 now. So after taking half of week 2 off, I soon came back round halfway through week 3 with a refreshed mind and a realisation that I definitely did want to continue documenting because I feel like the long-term positives far outweigh the negatives. So my plan for the remainder of week 3 was simply just to create a plan as to how I would structure these recap videos. The time I had off from week 2 to week 3 just reminded me how much better I perform with the structure, and that as much as I like the idea of being spontaneous, like, it just doesn't work for me. The thought of having to go through an entire month's worth of unstructured documentation at the end of every single month and merging it all into just one video for YouTube was just massively affecting me. It just made me feel like this was an impossible task, and that it would take me so long to edit that by the time I had edited it, it would be time to literally make another recap video. So yeah, I spent the rest of this week writing my script for this recap video. I found that writing what I thought was the best way to tell the story about month 1 helped me to work out some questions I would answer and some kind of structure I could follow when documenting every day, so that I could create the recap videos quicker and easier, giving me more time to spend in the working phase. The outcome of the week was that I'd managed to come up with a set of questions that I would answer every day, and these are the questions that I'm currently answering on this recap video. At the start of the week, I was still feeling a little bit lost with everything, but as I said, I soon came back round halfway through the week, feeling much more optimistic now that I had more of a structure to follow. The week taught me how important it is for me to have some kind of structure and plan, and I also managed to learn about the Ivy Lee method and the benefits of keeping my get-to-do lists as simple as possible. By the end of the week, I felt a lot more clear-headed and a lot more motivated and organised, because just knowing the structure was there just made me feel so much more at ease. It doesn't mean that I have to religiously stick to it, but it's just nice to know it's there because I can always go back to it if I ever get lost again. Now for the final week of the working phase. So the structure and plan I made for week 3 allowed me to feel like I had a bit more direction and like I had something to work towards. Here is the plan that I created for week 4 at the end of week 3. I'm not going to read them all because, you know, we don't want to be here for like 2 hours. So across the whole week, I searched all over Instagram to find local businesses in Cornwall that I could do some video work for. In the entire week, I managed to agree filming dates for 8 local businesses to make free videos for. Yeah, 8. As well as 2 real estate clients. So yeah, like 10 in total. 8 plus 2, baby. So yeah, they're all booked in for early 2022, and yeah, I can't wait to get started. I also managed to have an interview for a full-time real estate photography company, which I think went really successfully, and I'll find out soon if I got the job or not. Here are some other things that I got up to during the week. So yeah, I think all in all, week 4 was a bit of a banger. So I didn't majorly struggle with anything during the week, but in all honesty, at times I actually felt a little bit lonely. Yeah, not because I don't have any friends, because, you know, I've got a lot of them, like a lot of friends.
They ask you how you are.
But yeah, I didn't mean lonely in that way. I mean lonely in a way where I didn't have anybody to like bounce ideas off of. I celebrated all the small wins on my own, and I solved all the problems on my own as well. And I just think it would have been nice to have had somebody else to kind of share those experiences with. I guess this is something that just a lot of self-employed people go through, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Another thing that I struggled to do was staying strict with my working times. I woke up later than planned, meaning that I'd punish myself and work till later, and just in general, my working schedule was just all over the place, and I just miscalculated how long it takes me to do things, which is something that I really wanted to take forwards and focus on in the future. And here are some of the more struggles that I faced during the week. This week has taught me that I definitely just don't get all of my tasks completed from my get-to-do lists, which I now know is definitely because I don't stick to only putting 6 tasks on my get-to-do lists like the Ivy Lee method suggests. Like some days I'll have over 10 things on the get-to-do lists, and I'll just end up getting overwhelmed, and I'll just end up staring at the tasks for hours instead of actually doing them. So I've learned that I want to try and be as strict with this as possible. I also learned that there is a lot to learn about maximising the potential of social media. There are so many things that I didn't know about how algorithms work, but I feel like once I get more comfortable with them, I'll be able to maximise the amazing tool that social media is. Because in my current opinion, that's what social media is. It's a tool. For years now, I've literally hated social media, thinking that it was the principal cause for poor mental health, which I still think is true, but to a certain extent, because I now feel as though social media isn't the problem itself, but the way in which most of us use it. I think it should be about showing ourselves in as much genuinity as possible, and actually communicating and interacting with other human beings, and not showing ourselves to be something we're not by trying to impress people all the time. I could talk about this for ages, but I'll save it for another time. Here are some more things that I learned. By the end of the week, I felt great, and I was really satisfied about what I'd achieved during it. The feeling at the end of each day specifically didn't really feel like I was achieving that much, but when I look back at the week as a whole, I can definitely see that I put in a lot of work and that I did achieve a lot of things. And I felt like I earned myself the weekend to relax. And I also realised that I wanted to stop putting myself under so much pressure to achieve big things every single day, because the reality is that that's just not possible. Okay, so I'm now going to talk about the recap phase. If I'm being honest, it was pretty tough to stay committed during weeks 5, 6 and 7 because it was the Christmas period. If I'd got my head down properly, I probably could have had both phases completed by week 5. But you know, I managed to do what I could when I could. Going into week 5 specifically, I didn't really have too much of a plan, other than to just not put too much pressure on myself. I also managed to come across this time boxing method, which I'm now aware is used by a lot of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, so I'm going to try and implement it into my schedule during the working phase, alongside the Ivy Lee method. My hope is that these two things will help me to not miscalculate how long it takes me to do things, and actually stick to my working times, which is one of the struggles that I picked up upon in week 4. So I'm in week 6 now as I speak this. It's currently Wednesday the 29th of December 2021, and today I finished off the Myron Lee video and I am obviously filming it as we speak. So this means that for week 7 I plan on having the video fully edited and then of course posted onto YouTube, which hopefully means that I'll be ready to start the working phase again by Monday the 10th of January. Right, now to conclude. As you can see, when you compare the beginning of week 1 to the end of week 4, you can see how much I learnt, but also how many times I struggled. And I think you can also see that I've definitely progressed. I mean, it may not be that much of a progression, but small progress is still progress, and consistency is better than perfection. So now that you are watching this, it's time for the cycle to repeat itself and start on week 1 all over again. I think the standout thing for me is that I've now got a planned structure for documenting, a plan to use the Ivy Lee method when writing get-to-do lists, and a time boxing plan for sticking to a schedule, because according to Parkinson's law, work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So yeah, a lot of planning has been done. I've planned my work and now it's time to work my plan, from the wise words of Napoleon Hill. So now for the big question, how much did I earn? Well, not very much. That's if you've got my goal of 100k in mind. I wasn't able to do any client work, but I did manage to get my first paycheck with the Kickstart scheme. So if you're truly interested in the numbers, then I guess I'll just let you do the maths for this one. I'll give you a quick hint though. My target is now only 5 figures away. Easy work. Easy. Right, I'm gonna go. I hope you enjoyed this video and didn't find it too long or boring. Like, I am sorry, I know it was long. I've tried cutting it down, but I just have a lot of things to say. I'm hoping for the next one it won't be as long. I think it's quite tough to make a video like this exciting, but I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments. But if you did like it, my friends, you know what to do. I'll be posting again soon. Take care, and thanks for watching. Honestly, why do I do that?